If I was starting body transformation or weight loss now, what would I do differently? Oh my gosh, there's so much that I've learned over my 6-year journey, and I would do things completely differently now if I was starting a transformation journey. And in this video, I'm going to give you some simple steps to start weight loss. Hello fam, and welcome to my channel. My name's Melissa Neal, and this channel is all about helping you, if you're a woman over 40 or like me over 50, get in great shape. And one of the things that happens when you're over 40, if you're anything like me, is you make a ton of mistakes. So I want to share with you what I would do if I was starting my transformation journey today. So firstly, I'm going to talk about exercise. And when I was doing exercise when I first started, I actually didn't have a proper plan. I used to kind of rock up in the gym and not really know what I was going to do until I get there. And if you do that, you're not going to get the most out of it. You're not going to make much progress. And what you should have is a proper schedule of activity, Monday through to Sunday, exactly what you're going to do each day. You schedule in your strength training sessions, you schedule in your high intensity interval training sessions, and you should have a proper workout plan that you're actually following. And why is that? Well, because if you don't follow a proper workout plan, you're actually not going to make progress. And then the second mistake I made when it comes to exercise is I did too much cardio and not enough strength training. If I was starting now, I would make strength training my main priority. I would do that 3 or 4 times a week. And if I was only doing 3 times a week and I was just starting, what I would do would be actually do full body workouts 3 times a week. And I've actually got a beginner strength training program, and I'm going to link that up here, and it shows you exactly how to start. It's a full program of workouts, and it starts on 3 times a week and then it moves to 4 times a week. After 4 weeks, I would actually move to 4 times a week and split my sessions into upper body and lower body. Because I would want to focus on muscle building when I'm first starting out, I wouldn't do a massive amount of cardio activity. So I would make it high intensity interval training, which is the most effective for fat burning. And the beauty is you can get it done in a short amount of time. You'd only need to do about 15 minutes to start off with, 3 times a week, and put that in straight after strength training, which is much less than I was originally doing, because when I first started, I was doing hours and hours of running and I wasn't seeing success with that. And you know, when I first started, another mistake that I used to make was actually working out 7 days a week. And that is just too much, particularly when it comes to strength training, because the time that you build muscle is actually while you're resting. So if you're not getting enough rest days in, so that should be at least once a week, maybe 3 times a week, having a rest day when you're first starting. If you don't get those rest days in, you're not actually going to see success when it comes to muscle building. So I would definitely put in, if I was starting now, 2 or 3 rest days per week. And the reason I would do that is that it would give my muscles enough time to grow, and building muscle would actually help me burn fat more easily and build my metabolism. So in other words, it would just enable me to burn fat even when I'm just sat around, which is exactly what you want when you're over 40, because your metabolism has really taken a nosedive. So it's really important to build that strength training in, but importantly, get enough rest days so you actually benefit from the strength training. So when it comes to nutrition, I made a ton of mistakes. First, I was really reluctant to weigh out my food. But I wish that I'd started on this so much earlier, because if you weigh out your food, you know exactly what you're eating. And what you should be eating is plenty of protein. So that's 1 gram of protein for every pound in your body weight. Or if you weigh over 170 pounds, your goal body weight, and you need to be eating that amount of protein every single day. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you should be eating 150 grams of protein every single day. But how do you know if you're getting in that amount of protein? It's really hard, isn't it? But I was so off when I first started this, because I didn't weigh out my foods. I didn't look at my balance of macronutrient content. So that was my balance of my protein, carbs and fats. And I wasn't getting in around about 35% protein, 35% carbs and 30% fat. I really wish that I was weighing out my food. Following on from that, I really wish that I was eating from a meal plan rather than tracking my own calories and macros when I first started. That's what I tried to do. When I started implementing nutrition, I just sort of thought, well, I'll download MyFitnessPal and start tracking my own calories and macros. And what I found is it really didn't work, because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to get the protein in. What I wish I'd done was actually start eating from a structured meal plan. If you want a nutrition guide that actually tells you how much protein you should be eating and how to get it in, and a sample meal plan, I actually have a free one of those, and I'm going to link it up here in the description so you can download it and you can see exactly how you should be eating and not make the mistakes that I made, and get it right first. Because if you get your nutrition right really early on, it's probably the most important thing, and the thing that people just get way off. As I said earlier, I really wish that I had a structured workout plan to work to, so I knew exactly what I was doing when I was going to the gym. You might be starting out and working out from home, and you can write this program yourself. You can write your nutrition plan, you can write your own program, and there's plenty of resources online to help you do that. But if you want somewhere where it's all done for you, I actually have my own programs, and I do have a quiz you can take to work out what program is going to be right for you. I'm going to link that here, and I'm also going to link that in the description. The next thing I would do if I was starting now is not take my calories too low. Many women over 40, and I was advised to do this, will be advised to go on really low calories, and for most people I wouldn't recommend anything under 1300 calories or below, because it's just too low to sustain it in the long term. And it's actually much better to have your calories up higher and be able to sustain that week in, week out, without going on a binge. And some of the signs that your calories are too low is kind of really extreme hunger, extreme fatigue, brittle hair and nails, and maybe problems with your skin. And the other sign is, of course, is you feel like you really need to kind of have a cheat day and binge, or you get so hungry that you really overeat sometimes. So a much better strategy is actually to keep your calories up higher. So for me, I kind of think once I started learning about this, I increased my calories to 1700 calories, and I actually found that I was losing more body fat by having my calories up higher than I did when my calories were lower. And the other thing, if I was starting a transformation journey now, is that I wouldn't go on a diet. So a lot of those diets out there that have a name, they're actually not necessarily going to work in the long term. And what it's actually about is getting your calories right and the balance of your protein, carbs and fats, which is what I talked about earlier. A really big thing that I would focus on if I was just starting now, which I never did until recently, is getting enough sleep, because there's a really big connection between sleep and fat loss for women over 40. The thing that's changed when you're over 40 is your hormones are actually either out of whack, depending on what age you are. So if you haven't started perimenopause, or if you started perimenopause and you're in menopause, your hormones are going to be depleting. What happens if you don't get enough sleep is that's going to make your hormones go off even more. And what you want to do is actually put your hormones in balance, and getting more sleep is going to help you do that. But of course, getting more sleep at this stage in life is not easy, is it? So you need to put in place some good strategies to help you do that. And I've actually made a video all about sleep, how to get better sleep, and what the connection is between sleep and fat loss. And I will link that up here. One of the things that I didn't do when I started this journey is I didn't cut myself enough slack. What I did is I put an enormous amount of pressure on myself to start off with, instead of actually just focusing on delivering on the processes. So delivering on the processes is like getting your nutrition right and getting your workouts right. And what I did when I started is I put too much emphasis on seeing results, and I just didn't give myself enough time. I know now that if you get this right, it's a really good idea to give yourself around about a year to really see the transformation, and cut yourself enough slack. Don't be in a rush to do things, because body transformation actually takes time. I've been doing this for 6 years and I'm still working on myself now. I haven't stopped. 12 months is a good amount of time to actually see a full transformation. So you give yourself some slack, take your time, you will enjoy it more, and you will start to fall in love with the process. So I love to talk about falling in love with the process, because that's when it's going to give you a high amount of satisfaction.